do that special ed study, demographic study?
Yes, I sent that off to our GPS director to start filling in the information that they're requesting.
Because I was just wondering if there's a possibility we may be switching. I'd be curious to wonder if we should wait and go with the new company if we do switch or not.
It's free, it's part of our membership right now, so it doesn't cost us anything to do so.
Oh, it's part of
They're
our
locked into
part of it.
membership already, so.
Yeah,
Oh, when does that expire?
at the end of the school year. So we would have to renew it for next year.
So anything we can get them to do,
Right.
between now and June.
And I have the preliminary for their projections for next year, which I can share. I'll post. It doesn't have any narrative, but it has a lot of their charts and graphs. So. The next section under grade level reconfiguration, we did propose a new high school, middle school schedule to bring the two schools together. The teachers have reviewed it. They've given feedback, and this afternoon, Claire and I met with the union membership to just basically field any questions, address any concerns. When we get back from vacation, Claire and I will be meeting with the high school staff on Thursday, and then the following Monday with the middle school staff again, and then follow up with the union leadership on Tuesday, Wednesday after lunch. So there are questions and concerns, and we're answering them, and building a consensus towards looking at changing the schedule. So once we have this set from the teacher standpoint, then it will be a community outreach, because there are some changes in busing and school start times that we'd like to go over with the parents as well. But right now, it's proposing a schedule that will be efficient and that will offer our students more opportunities for enrichment, intervention, internships, etc., while not having to have new staff. I mean, our schools will be very much punching above their weight based on how much we can offer our kids versus how many faculty members we have. The one main piece that is causing a little bit of concern is that right now our secondary teachers, they teach 5 classes in the cycle. We're looking at them having to pick up a 6th class. And so there's the question, what is this 6th class? And that's what we're working on, the definition. And so there is a change in the contract. There is a change in a couple of items, but we really believe that we're going to come to an agreement and move forward with a new schedule, maybe with some tweaks here.
Sounds good.
All right.
So I know that there's an order of operations and
Right.
communicating this out there,
Yeah.
but I'm already hearing from a lot of parents
Okay.
who hear things from their kids,
Right.
and I don't know how there's a way to be able to communicate this without disrespecting the staff at the same time. But, you know, I remember when you first brought this up, you know, the idea that kids could go now to internships, which they couldn't do in the previous structure. The ability for the middle
Right.
school to be able to now, 8th grade students be able to go over to the high school. Like,
Right.
all of these other opportunities that are now available, even when I started to explain some of that, they were like, well, we didn't, you know, they don't
Right.
realize that this is actually to benefit
Got it.
students. And so I know communications is something that we want to think about, but
I can put something together for that and move it forward in a way that honors the teachers' input into this process while informing the parents of what we're looking at along the way. Because another big change is moving the start time of the day back, which I look at as critical, especially with the Hallowell students being on the middle school schedule and 5th graders for next year standing at the bus so early in the dark that if we can move the start time back, it would just benefit not just the younger kids, the 5th and 6th grades waiting at the bus stop, but also the high school students that all studies show that they need to sleep later, they need more sleep. And we can move the start time of the day back and not interfere with interscholastic sports, with any after-school activities. We can do all of this, give our teachers a common planning time in the morning, which is something that NEASSP has been on our backs about for accreditation. Teachers need common planning time. We can accommodate that and give the kids more opportunities during the day for enrichment or interventions, internships, so on. And still meet the state requirements for how long is a school day. In fact, we will still exceed the RIDE requirements by 15 minutes a day. So our kids are going to have a longer school day with more opportunities and a later start date. So there are a lot of benefits for families, for parents, and for students in this. And I'm confident that we will work well with the union. And again, everyone's pretty much in agreement with the concept. There's a couple of little sticking points that we just need to further define.
Right. Do you want to work with ag education? So
I mean, I would like, this, basically, this is a public forum, right?
Sure.
So this is, it's out there.
Right.
But I'd like to be able to figure out a way to at least communicate, look, it's being thought through very carefully, but because they haven't heard anything, everybody gets the impression that this is just getting thrown in there out of nowhere, and there's no explanation, there's no reason for it,
Right.
someone just decided to do something.
Okay.
And I really don't want that to be the message that's getting out.
Okay. So why don't I put together a brief and shoot it over to you, and you can help tweak and modify it, and then we'll send it out to the community. Okay, good.
Thank you. All right.
That's it for my updates.
Okay, so do we have anything, well, do we have anything on the 19 budget, within budget? No, nothing that we know of coming up. Okay. So just fiscal year 20 budget, which I assume is before us.
So you have your budget books?
Just draft, out of the press.
I don't know if you would like any preview, explanation, or give you time to take a look at it, and then we come back later. So, but I would recommend you take a look at that executive summary. It is probably the best, clearest, most. I told Lisa and everyone that if this weekend I get hit by a bus, that summary is my legacy. It is just that good.
Well, now I have to go back.
What I would like to do is at least think, because now this is in a public record, I'd like to publish that executive summary and put it up on the web, on Facebook, and send it out to the teachers, and just put it out to the community.
So let's go last year to this year. All right, is any, you want to just talk very briefly? I mean,
I kind of want to get some time to
Digest.
Okay, so we can ask questions maybe at the next meeting. We're going to appoint a subcommittee. Actually, we're going to appoint a subcommittee, but we will keep it open also if any members that are not on the subcommittee have questions, they can ask. Otherwise, we'll drop it to the subcommittee. Okay. Superintendent Alice Training.
So just to give you an update on this, a couple of months ago, myself, Steve Boss, assistant principal at the high school, and our two SRO officers attended 2.5 days of ALICE training. Now, ALICE stands for, and I have it on your handout and on the board behind you, Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate. So that makes up the ALICE acronym. And essentially, what it is not what we're currently doing. What we're doing just the lockdown piece, the shelter in place, and after going through the training and looking at all the research, that is the wrong thing to do. We are thoroughly convinced that we we need to proceed with the ALICE procedures. So 4 of us have had the training. One of the things that was in the consent agenda is a series of e-learning videos and certification for all employees of the school district, not just teachers, but also custodians. And we are all going to go through and become an ALICE certified district. At which point then we're going to then roll it out to the students. Now, what we do with the students will vary by grade level. It will be age appropriate. And that will take place going into next year. We need this year to get all the staff on the same page and trained. I will have, and to communication, I will have information that is going out to families to explain what the ALICE program is and just give assurances that it is very sensitive to the age of the students. However, it is imperative that we make these changes and our response to any kind of active shooter or danger in our schools is done in this coordinated fashion. So there'll be a lot of changes coming up within our emergency safety and response plans, as well as what we do with our students, and it will vary by situation. There won't be a single protocol. A part of ALICE is situational awareness. Know the environment around you, and if you can evacuate, get out, as opposed to hide under a desk. So, and I don't want to get into the details and some of the horrors that our teachers are going to see as they go through the training or the simulations that they go through. They're going to come out empowered to make the right decisions for the kids based on whatever the circumstance is. That is the training. The other piece to go with this is that I have a full-on threat assessment study of our schools will take place at the beginning of January. So originally I had looked to the ALICE company to come in, send their experts in to go through our facilities and do a comprehensive report on everything that we should and could be doing. My intent is that if there are things that we need to replace in our schools, I would like to make it part of our capital budget. I'd like to have it on file with the Department of Ed, so that if there's monies to make upgrades to school security, we have our shovel-ready projects right then and there. And it's not something that myself or Mr. Seepy or our SROs came up with. This is an independent company. Now, it was a bit pricey, and you don't see it on the consent agenda because I had also learned as I checked around that the state police, they do a similar type of survey for free for Rhode Island schools. So I've contacted the necessary folks of the state police, and they will be coming in January and doing an assessment. So, and we will take that information, and that will inform our capital plan, as well as our emergency procedures going forward.
Thank you, Sue. Anybody have any questions?
When is the staff going to be trained?
So the principals and directors have had the initial training. Our crisis teams have had another round, and some of the staff training is already starting now. In January, February, that's when the real training begins. That's when we start rolling it out more so in mass. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until professional day at the start of the school year over the summer to run some of the drills, some of the simulations. But at that stage, we should have, ideally, all staff trained appropriately. They've taken the online assessment to show that they understand the precepts of the ALICE program, so that as a district, we are ALICE certified. Now, we will be out front in Rhode Island. Massachusetts is already looking to adopt this statewide. So Rhode Island's not there yet, but North Smithfield as far as I know, we may very well be the first hour certified district in the state.
It's great to me. Okay, we'll go to the budget subcommittee appointments. The budget subcommittee, I would like to appoint Christine Charest, William Connell, Paul Jones, and myself. And in appointing myself to these subcommittees, I don't want anyone to think that I'm appointing myself as the chairman or anything else like that. I would like somebody else to take the lead, but I would like to just have the knowledge of the subcommittee, lend any expertise that I have. Does anybody have any objections to that? Move to the next item, which is the NSASSP Negotiation Subcommittee. I would like to appoint Fran Johannes, Peg Vada, and myself. Anybody have any objections to that? On the next item on the agenda, I would like to establish a commission for stadium naming, rehabilitation, and improvements to the athletic complex. And what they would be responsible for is to make recommendations to us on logistics around formal naming ceremony, to include time, date, and plans, potential upgrades to the complex, to include concessions, bathrooms, appropriate signage, additional recreational opportunities, facilities, and memorials. Fundraising opportunities to possibly include reapplication for a Champlain Foundation grant and other grant opportunities, and donation opportunities, including possibly putting a larger flagpole up and other items. So I think I would ask for a vote to establish the committee, and then I would, we can do it maybe all in one shot. I spoke to Tony Gerton. He made the following recommendations, which I will ask that the committee support. So it would be Tony Gerton, John Beauregard, Fran Johannes, Kate Pasquarello, Denise Gerton, Chris Boulay, Steve Vowles, Alan Seepy, Matt Tech, Bill Nangle, and Mike Black. So I would ask for a motion to establish a commission and appoint the members that I just stated. So motion's been made. It's second.
So is there, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Is there some, I noticed you said, Mike Black, is there some solid representation from the NSAA?
Yeah, Mike Black's
But I
it.
mean, that's it?
Well, Bill Nangle.
Bill Nagle's not NSAA anymore.
Right now,
I just
he's
want to
the-
make sure that we're covering like so age
Yeah,
appropriate.
I think they're clearly covering the
Okay, I
NSAA.
just want to make sure they're covering.
Yeah, no,
all bases.
that's definitely an area that's covered, in my opinion. But again, we can always change this, we can always add, whatever.
It just seems, I mean, like town council, I just want to make sure that we're being very, very inclusive and there's no.
We can add, but again, they're there to provide us with recommendations, and then I think we'll carry the ball. I just, you know, just the setting up the ceremony for the naming rights, doing those type of things, I think that needs to be an independent committee that can then give us recommendations, and then we can accept them or reject them. Is that okay?
Yes, I mean, but then you said an independent committee with someone on the school committee's on it. So I'm just trying to understand the structure of it, and I want to make sure that, because we know what happened when we tried to do even the one piece around naming something, or
Right.
perhaps, and I don't want us to step in that again, and I want to be sure that if it is an independent committee, it's an independent committee. If it's going to have school committee participation, do we want to make sure that we invite participation from other town agencies? so that it's a townwide effort. That's just kind of the way I just want us to think about it.
We can solicit if someone from the council wants to join. They want to send somebody
So
over
even something like,
to add to it.
So would this be an open membership? Would the commission be able to appoint new members or vote members on it?
I think we would appoint.
I mean,
But they can't, we created it so we can change it, we can limit it, we can add to it, whatever.
And I feel it's a good fail-safe, so that if there are people from, say, the town council or from other agencies here in town that want to be part of this, which I think is a great commission, a really important mission, as people hear about what the commission's work is doing and hear some of the recommendations of other people who do want to join in, then I think that it's totally appropriate for them or for one of the existing members on the commission to approach us at a meeting like this and say, we have a recommendation for this person to join, we'd like you to approve, here's why. Is that fair? Okay.
Absolutely. And I even think that there are opportunities to create, other pockets of I mean, this is a big project. We're going to need a lot of donations. Although Mike Blackett is great at raising money, he's not going to be able to do it alone. So, we might need additional people to help us. So it's a commission right now to make recommendations. But if other people want to join, I think we're going to need a lot more people, to be honest with you.
Do you have a time frame for this as far as when everything in the complex will be done as we would like it to be, the concession stand, the bathrooms? Will this be going on in conjunction with that, or will this be finalized